Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathsala. I am Shanti, Assistant Professor in the Department of Biochemistry, Biotechnology and Bioinformatics at Avinashlingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. In this module, you will learn about bone, cartilage and connective tissue. The main structural component of our body are bone, muscle and cartilage. Bones are rigid while muscles are bending, stretch and are flexible, and cartilages are less rigid. The human skeleton is composed of bone, cartilage and connective tissues. There are about 206 bones in our body. The axial and appendicular frames are made up of bone tissues. The bone tissues are the hard form of connective tissue. Cartilage is also a form of connective tissue but flexible. It forms part of our body wherever flexibility is required. For example, joints of bone, ear, elbow, knee and ankle are made up of cartilage tissues. First, let us see about the anatomy of bone. Bone is covered by a fibrous connective tissue called periosteum, and there are two types of bones known as spongy and compact bone. The compact bones are the hard bone and form the outer layer of the bone. The compact bone provides strength for weight bearing. The spongy bones are found inside the bone and at the end of long bones. It is the weak part of the bone. Bones make up of most of our skeletal system. So they are the living tissues and hard connective tissue. They provide mechanical support, protection, mineral storage and blood production. They are the calcium reservoir, participate in the regulation of blood calcium concentration. Bone tissue is otherwise called as osseous tissue. Bone tissues have specialized cells within the matrix. In addition to that, some ground substances and fibers are present. The matrix has the property of compressional strength because of the presence of hydroapatite crystals. This is nothing but crystals results from the interaction of calcium phosphate and calcium hydroxide, and tensile strength due to collagen fibers. That is nothing but they provide framework of the bone. 1/3 of the weight of the bone is due to collagen fibers. Cells of the bone. Bone is composed of 4 types of cells and is involved in bone homeostasis. The first one is the osteoblast. Osteoblasts are bone forming cells responsible for building a matrix in bone tissue. They are present in the inner and outer surface of the bone. These cells are responsible for mineralization of bone. They secrete osteoid, which is responsible for the mineralization of the bone. Mineralization is simply to use minerals such as calcium to form solid bone. The process of bone formation is called as osteogenesis. The number of osteoblasts will decrease with age. When we get older, our bones are not able to repair efficiently, so that they become more brittle. This condition is called osteoporosis. It means pores or holes in our bones. Osteoporosis occurs when there is not enough osteoblast. The second cell is osteoclast. In contrast to osteoblast, osteoclasts break down bone and bone matrix. They are giant cells. They secrete acids which dissolve bone tissues and release minerals such as calcium and phosphorus into the body fluid. The broken down cells are reabsorbed by our body. It is very important because they clean the bad or damaged bone, so that osteoblast comes and build the new bone. The third one is osteocyte. They are the mature bone cells. The osteocytes reside inside the lacunae. They are the space in the mineralized layers of bone matrix called lamella. Osteocytes communicate with each other through the cytoplasmic process extended in the bone matrix that is called canaliculi, which maintain the protein and mineral content of the bone tissue. They are also involved in the exchange of nutrients and waste materials between osteocyte and the blood vessels. They live up to 50 years. It performs an important function, that is, it maintains the equilibrium between osteoblast and osteoclast and maintain bone homeostasis. The fourth cell is the osteogenic cells. There are stem cells and it can differentiate into osteoblast. When you see the types of bone tissues, generally there are 2 types of tissues based on the density: compact or cortical tissue and spongy or cancellous tissue. When we say the word bone, generally we think of compact bone. It forms the outside of the bone. It's like the skin of the banana. 80% of the human skeleton is formed of this compact bone. It gives structural support to our muscles and protection for our internal organs. It releases calcium to form new bone and repair damaged bone. It consists of closely packed osteal cells. It consists of central canal called osteogenic or Haversian canal. This is surrounded by concentric rings of matrix called lamellae. Between the rings is the space called the lacunae, where the osteocytes are located, as I told already. There are small channels called canaliculi radiate from the lacunae to the osteogenic canal to provide passageways through the hard matrix. In the case of compact bone, the Haversian systems are packed tightly together as a solid mass. The osteogenic canal contains blood vessels that are parallel to the long axis of the bone. The blood vessels are interconnected through perforating canals with vessels on the surface of the bone. In the case of spongy bone, they are normally found at the end of the bone. It is called spongy because it has a lattice which is made up of spicules or tiny needle-shaped pieces of bone which resemble spongy. The lattice allows for cancellous bone to have greater surface area than cortical bone, so that it is the location where the metabolic activity of bone occurs. Spongy bone is lighter and less dense. It consists of plates called trabeculae. Adjacent to trabeculae is the small irregular cavity that contains red bone marrow. The bone marrow either dominated by red bone marrow or yellow bone marrow. The canaliculi connect to the adjacent cavities instead of central Haversian canal to receive their blood supply. The spongy bone is found only where the bone is not heavily stressed. The spongy bone reduces the weight of the bone. The open trabecular structures give support and protect the cells from the bone marrow. In addition to this, there are two layers that line our bones. The periosteum lines the outside surface of the bone, as I told already. The endosteum lines the inner surface of bones. The muscles and the tendons are attached with the periosteum. The endosteum lines the medullary cavity of or hollow portion of the middle of the long bone. The bone itself is formed by different types of connective tissues. It is classified as bone marrow. It is found inside our bones and is part of our lymphatic system. There are two types of bone marrow, as I told, that is red bone marrow and another one is called yellow bone marrow. Red bone marrow is the site of red cell formation called hematopoiesis. White blood cells are also produced by red bone marrow. In addition to long bones, we can find red bone marrow in flat bones, pelvis, sternum and ribs. The yellow bone marrow is found by adipose cells. It is found only in medullary cavity. When we are young, all the bone marrow in our body is red bone marrow. As we grow, about half of our bone marrow is converted into the yellow bone marrow. However, when we get severely injured, there will be heavy blood loss. At that time, the yellow bone marrow is temporarily converted into red bone marrow to restore red blood cell count in our body. If you look into the structure of the bone tissue, it almost looks like the cross section of a tree. The central circle, what you see on the slide in figure, is called Haversian canal, through which the nerves and blood vessels run. The Haversian canal is surrounded by the ring of tissues called lamellae. Between the rings is the space called the lacunae, where the osteocytes are located. There are several small canals like projection coming out of lacunae are called canaliculi. The Haversian canal, lamella and canaliculi together also called as osteon, the functional unit of the bone tissue. To summarize, bone tissue is comprised of osteoblast, form bone, the osteoclast, degrade bone. Osteocytes live in the healthy tissue in assisting the osteoblast and the osteoclast in doing the jobs. Osteon is the functional unit of the bone. Each osteon consists of central Haversian canal through which blood vessels and nerves run. Surrounding this is the lamella. The space is the lamella is called lacuna, in which the osteocyte resides. The canaliculi are the canal-like projection coming out of each lacuna. So the bone is made up of compact and cortical bone and spongy cancellous bone. Our bones are lined outside with the periosteum and inner with the endosteum. All bones contain red and yellow bone marrow. Red blood cells are formed in the red bone marrow. The yellow bone cells bone marrow is made up of fat or adipose cells. As a bone tissue, it has two main functions. It gives support and protection needed by our soft body tissues. It serves as an important dynamic calcium reservoir that participates in the regulation of blood calcium concentration. So next is the cartilage tissue. Cartilage is a connective tissue and they are less rigid than bone and less flexible than muscles that are perfect halfway between bone and muscle tissues. We can find cartilage in places where we need some support and structure. For example, in ear, nose, joints and between the vertebra in our spinal cord. So that cartilage is firm, flexible type of connective tissue and is essential for our body to function normally. Now we'll see the structure and functions of cartilage tissue. The cartilage tissue is a connective tissue, consists of a dense matrix of collagen fibers and elastic fibers in a ground substance. The extracellular matrix of cartilage tissue is produced by some specialized cells called chondroblast. The chondroblast present in the matrix are called chondrocytes. The mature cartilage cells are called chondrocytes. The cells are found in a space called lacunae, which determine the flexibility of cartilage tissues. When we look under the microscope, chondrocytes seems like an eyeball floating in a slimy substance or soup. The outer surface of cartilage is surrounded by a membrane of dense irregular connective tissue called pericardium. The cartilage tissue does not contain blood vessels or nerves. There are three types of cartilage tissues with different functions. The first one is the hyaline cartilage and fibrocartilage, and the third one is the elastic cartilage. The hyaline cartilage is the most abundant one. It is the more flexible and found in our nose, bronchi, bronchial tubes, larynx, trachea and end of our ribs, covering the surface of the bone and joints, especially in the area where damage due to osteoarthritis. The structure of the hyaline cartilage consists of elastic material with a matrix of chondroitin into which many collagen fibers are embedded. The chondrocytes are fewer than the elastic cartilage tissues. You can see the differences when you look into the figure. The main function is to provide smooth surface which facilitates smooth movement of the joints and it provides flexibility. The fibrocartilage contains the fewest number of chondrocytes. It bends very less. This type of cartilage you can find on our knee, also in between the vertebra of the spine. Further, you can find the difference in the extracellular matrix also. The fibrocartilage does not appear as smooth as the matrix of elastic and hyaline cartilage. You can see the number of collagen fibers in the matrix. That is why the fibrocartilage is more rigid and stable than other type of cartilage. It is the strongest of the three type of cartilage. The collagen is a protein that gives strength and support to our body. Fibrocartilage lacks pericardium. The elastic cartilage is the third one, is the most flexible. That means it contains chondrocytes. This kind of cartilage is found in our ears and epiglottis. The cartilage cells are located in a thread-like network of elastic fibers. A pericardium is present. It provides support to the surrounding structures and maintains the shape. You can see the figure for how the elastic cartilage looks. The cartilage tissue does not supply with blood vessels, therefore it grows and repairs slowly. The repairing capability is very limited. The chondrocytes are bound in the lacunae, therefore they cannot move to a damaged site. When damage occurs in a place such as the knee or spinal column, it will be quite painful and requires surgery to fix the problem. To summarize, cartilage tissue or more significant tissue because it provides support. It allows for some flexibility of the movement because it is less rigid than bone and more stable than muscles. Cells called chondroblasts produce the extracellular matrix of cartilage. When the chondroblasts trapped within the matrix, they are called chondrocytes. The number of chondrocytes in the cartilage determines how flexibility the cartilage is. Based on that, cartilage tissues are classified as elastic, hyaline and fibrocartilage. The number of chondrocytes is more in elastic cartilage, so it bends more. The next is the hyaline cartilage followed by fibrocartilage. Very few chondrocytes are found in fibrocartilage, so it is the most rigid of the three cartilage connective tissues. So the next one is the connective tissue. It is an essential part of the body and one of the basic type of tissue. It supports other tissues, organ and much more. What is the purpose of the connective tissue means? You can correlate this with the using of concrete in the construction of the house. Without concrete, you cannot attach building components such as foundation and roofing materials, doors, etc. You can think of the body in the same way. The body is the structure composed of many different types of such cells, tissues, organ and organ systems. Are these body parts simply floating in the body? The answer is immediately no. All these body parts are packed tightly and connected to something else. In this module, you will learn about that important substance in our body that provides support, connection and separation between parts. The principal substance is the connective tissue. In the connective tissue, the cells are surrounded by non-cellular material. This is considered as part of the tissue along with cells. So in our body, the bone or cartilage or blood plasma forms the extracellular matrix of our body. Even the mixture of proteins and also the fibers. Connective tissues are the diverse group of tissues and perform different functions. Most of the connective tissues are structural and supportive tissues which help to maintain the shape of our body, its organs and its tissue. Some of the connective tissues connected with our tissues and some connective tissues like blood are not structural and they do not connect other tissues, but are still classified as connective tissue because the cells are suspended in extracellular fluid. Now let me explain different types of connective tissues. First, we will start with the loose connective tissue. Loose connective tissue is the most abundant one. It is used as a base for epithelial cells and as a filler between tissues and around organs to maintain the structure. A fibroblast cells scattered throughout loose connective tissue maintain the extracellular matrix. They are all necessary for wound repair, tissue remodeling and tissue expansion. Adipose or fat tissue is another example of loose connective tissue. The subcutaneous tissue or innermost layer of skin is made up of adipose tissue as well as areolar tissue, another type of loose connective tissue. If we pull on our skin, we can see that it moves around quite easily because of this loose connection. The second is the fibrous connective tissue. They have thicker, denser fibers and fewer cells. The matrix is made up of parallel bundles of collagen fibers. If in these fibers, connective tissues, single collagen fibers combine in groups and twist around similar like traditional ropes. These connective tissues form tendons and ligaments. It helps in the attachment of a muscle to the bone and bone to bone. The back of your leg, where your heel meets your ankle, you can find our ankle tendon. So you can also feel that it is firm and tight. It is important to have strong connections between muscles and bone for our body to move properly. The third type is the cartilage tissue. You can find the flexible cartilage tissues in our nose and ear. Cartilage is strong because of the presence of collagen fibers within its matrix. You can also find the cartilage within the skeletal system. The fourth is the bone tissue. Bones are made up of different types of connective tissue, including bone tissue and bone marrow. As we already know that bone tissues are either spongy or compact depending on the organization of the cells and then the matrix. The next is the blood connective tissue, which is characterized as connective tissue because the blood cells such as red, white blood cells as well as the platelets are suspended in an extracellular fluid of the blood. This extracellular fluid is known as plasma. Finally, the lymph system is the last type of mature connective tissue. Many of us usually think of our lymph system when we are sick. We may see the appearance of small lumps, swollen lymph nodes under our jaw bones. Lymph is a kind of fluid connective tissue. It consists of a clear fluid and various cells, some of which include lymphocytes, a type of white blood cells. To summarize, the connective tissue provides support, transport, connection and storage within the body. There are 6 major types of connective tissues, namely the loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, adipose connective tissue, bone connective tissue, cartilage connective tissue and blood connective tissue. I hope you understood. Thank you.